LQLove. Lord, how are we gonna do this? Yo, I have a huge book haul. I got new books. Look, all right, let me put this down quickly. Yo, I have been buying books, okay? There have just been like a lot of really good sales and whatnot, so get ready for the book hauls, okay? Because there are more books coming. I know I have an addiction now. I don't even want to talk about how many books are on my Kindle. I'm just gonna go through these physical books I bought, okay? So y'all, let's get into the haul. I am gonna be reading the descriptions off my phone because like I can't remember what all of these are about. I just be buying stuff. I read the like synopsis very quickly, and if it looks good, I buy it, and that's on period. First up, we have Educated by Tara Westover. This is a memoir that chronicles the author's journey from a homeschooling survivalist family in Idaho to a PhD at Cambridge. My mother-in-law was just reading this on our vacation. She says it's very good, so I had to get it. Well, I actually bought it anyway. It was just such a coincidence. She's reading this and I just got it. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I read my first Riley Sager book earlier this year. I read The Last One Left, and that was 5 stars. I absolutely had to pick up another one of his books. Look at this cover. It is so nostalgic. I love it. This story takes place in the early 90s. It is about 2 college students that are traveling. They meet up at like a rideshare type of a meetup in college, and they are both driving back to Ohio. The passenger suspects that the driver is a serial killer, and she starts noticing holes in his story, and also he doesn't want her to look in the trunk. Please. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is a classic. I've just never read it. It's about a young, naive, beautiful boy who is lured into a life of debauchery by some man. So I'm into it. I need to know what's going on. The Guest by Emma Cline. This is about a girl who is staying at a house of some old man in the summer on Long Island, and she's no longer welcome in his home. She makes a mistake or a misstep at a dinner party, and he kicks her to the curb, okay? He sends her a ticket and says go back home to the city, but she wants to stay on the island, so she hops from house to house, leaving destruction in her wake. And this is perfect for the summer, and I will be reading this very soon. The Vacation House by James Shemelt. I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry. It's about an English family enjoying their vacation home. The Greek caretaker's young daughter goes on a walk on their private beach, and her life is never the same. Cut to like 10 years later, some woman is a perfectionist wife and mother, and she's struggling, and her therapist is trying to help her get down to the bottom of it, and somehow those 2 stories are connected. Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. 2 estranged siblings must set aside their differences to deal with their mother's death and hidden past. This is about secrets, romance, danger, and complex characters. Women Who Run with the Wolves by Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Within every woman there lives a powerful force filled with good instincts, passionate creativity, and ageless knowing. She is the wild woman who represents the instinctual nature of women, but she is an endangered species. In Women Who Run with the Wolves, Dr. Estes unfolds rich intercultural myths, fairy tales, and stories from many of her own family in order to help women reconnect with the fierce, healthy, visionary attributes of this instinctual nature. Please, yes, women, all right? The Lagos Wife by Vanessa Walters. This is about a lady in Nigeria who seemingly has a perfect life, great husband, an amazing group of friends, and she goes missing on a boat. Her estranged aunt comes to figure out what happened to her. She finds dark secrets, isolation, and even some violence in her niece's life. And the more she uncovers about her niece, the more about her buried past comes to light. Messy. After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. A married couple who are struggling in their marriage, and they decide to take a year apart, and they have one rule, and that is that they cannot contact each other for the entire year. 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. A woman whose aunt dies, and she moves into her apartment, and there's like some man in the kitchen, and apparently her life is falling apart, and she was like, before her life fell apart, this would be the exact type of man that she would fall for. Only there's one problem. He's 7 years in the past, and she's 7 years in the future. Please, I need to know what's going on. One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's about a lady who is very happily married, but her husband goes missing, so she moves back home, and she falls in love with like an old childhood friend, and then her husband comes back. Please. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. An accomplished woman moves back to her hometown, and she runs into like the town bad boy, who is of course her brother's best friend, which means she's off limits, but will she stay away? Probably not. Big Swiss by Jen Began. A girl who works as a transcriber for a sex therapist, and she becomes infatuated with one of the clients that she nicknames Big Swiss. My husband said he thinks it means all holes. Anyway, she hears Big Swiss like out in the town, and they become friends and their lives become enmeshed somehow. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Kweki Emezi, a woman who loses the love of her life in some accident, and she slowly starts dating again. She finds a guy that she thinks might be the one, but every time she locks eyes with somebody in this man's house, she gets like a tingly feeling. And of course that person is off limits. We love a good off limits love, okay? And y'all, the love is his daddy. So that is my book haul. I'm gonna quickly talk about what I'm reading right now. So I just started, so right now I'm reading pretty heavily 2 books. On my Kindle, I'm reading Credence by Penelope Douglas. Y'all, this is taboo, okay? It's a taboo-esque type read. If you're not into taboo stories, keep it moving, okay? I love it. What does that say about me? It's about a rich girl. Her parents were like famous actors. They never really paid attention to her, and they both died. The father loses his life to cancer, and the mother decides to take her own life and go with her husband. It seems like they didn't really pay much attention to their daughter. They pretty much ignored her the entire time. So this girl is very like damaged, and she doesn't have any family, like none. In her father's will, he writes that she is to be left to his stepbrother. So the girl's step uncle. So it's not blood, y'all, okay? And his 2 sons. And they live, the girl lives in California, and they live in Colorado. Like a very isolated like peak on the mountain or whatever in Colorado. And you know, I think your mind can guess where that goes. So it does go there. So if you don't like reading that kind of stuff, don't read that, okay? The other one I'm reading is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This is more of a romantic type of a book. Y'all know I'm not a big romance girl, but I got a few romance books in here. I'm trying to, you know, broaden my horizon. I'm trying to give romance books a chance, and this one is very, very good. I love the way this author writes. It keeps my attention. It's witty. The characters are very complex. It's about 2 authors who I'm guessing are like childhood sweethearts. That's what it's looking like, or their childhood loves or something like that. I wouldn't say sweethearts because there's nothing like sweet about the way these people like talk. So but it's very cute, and they become estranged somehow. But while they have been estranged, they have been writing about each other in their books. So, you know, her characters are loosely based on him, and some of his characters are loosely based on her, and they run back into each other at like a writer's panel. And that's kind of where I am. I'm about 40% through, and that's kind of where I am. They've just met up, and we're kind of getting a little bit of the backstory, finding out how they know each other and exactly what happened and what led them to become estranged. So this is a bit of a lighter read, okay? But I have a feeling it's gonna get pretty heavy, but not, I can't tell if it's gonna be like serious or not, but it does touch on some like a little bit of self-harm. He's like an ex-addict and she's in a lot of pain. This is so interesting because I don't know, I'm just very interested to see like what happened, where is it gonna go. I'm thinking they're probably gonna get together in the end, but I can't see how that's gonna happen just yet. So I'm really, really into this one. And on audio, y'all, I'm a mood reader, okay? I hop around based on what I'm in the mood for is what I read. So I kind of like a little bit of a variety when I read. Right now, I am listening to Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This book is pretty intense. It is about 2 fathers. Their sons are married. One father is white, one father is black, and their sons were married. And I believe they live in like Virginia or something like that. So I think you can, you know, see what's going on. Already like a lot of homophobic stuff going on, and their sons are murdered, and they team up to try to figure out who killed their sons. The writing is so good. It's a good listen. It's action-packed, like a lot of action. So if you like that, you're gonna like this book. The narrator's voice is like deep and smoky and stuff. So it's like really good to listen to. I got to about 50% of the way through, and then I hadn't listened to it for about a month, so I'm starting over. So right now I'm on chapter 7, just kind of refreshing myself. And I really like this. I'm very interested to see where this goes, and I'm very excited to find out what happens in the end. So that is my current book haul as well as what I'm reading right now. Please let me know what you're reading. Also, if you have any suggestions on books that you want me to read or review, please let me know. Y'all, clearly y'all know I like to buy stuff, okay? So let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.